All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Actually Comics. My name is Tristan, and I'm joined today, as always, by my friend and yours, Bob. There he is. How's it going, Bob?
Good.
Excellent.
Hi.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about comics. I don't know. I don't have any. It's a new year. I don't really have much to talk about, outside of that. I've just been working twice as many hours to get the space in Westbrook all set up so that I can actually move around, because we have so much backstock and so much stuff on our website. It is absolutely almost unbelievable how many long boxes of comics are in our storage space.
Sounds like heaven.
It looks like it's very much like the end of Indiana Jones.
Nice.
Like you could just drive a little truck through it and you're just aisles and aisles of comics as far as the eye can see.
Get a little forklift.
Yeah, I'm constantly... I know it's a mill building and that it was meant for hundreds of tons of heavy machinery. I'm still worried I'm going through that fucking floor. Oh my God. I'm just like... Every time I bring another carload of stuff over there, after bringing, 26-foot truckloads over there, I'm just like, okay, here's another half a ton of books. Oh God, I hope it doesn't go through the floor. Okay, all right, we're good. Oh well,
it sounds great. I'd love to spend some time there.
Oh, I would love to have it safe for people to spend time there. It's fine. It's just not quite there yet.
Yeah,
not quite there yet.
Not at the warehouse sale yet.
No, we're not at warehouse sale. God, I wonder if that's ever going to be a thing. Maybe. Who knows? I'm just excited because we keep getting new cool stuff up on the website that we'd never had before. So that's like,
I can't believe I had like someone email me, be like, "Hey."
That was cool.
Yeah,
I did like that. Yeah, we've had a few people, especially because we put up those Turtles of Adventures books, and some people saw that like I had listed everything. I made everything active, but the last 3 issues I didn't put up because they are ungodly expensive, number one, and number two, I felt like I could press them into a better condition.
Ooh.
So I was doing that, and I got like 2 messages being like, "Did you sell those for $5 each?" And I was like, "No, I did not." $5. I just literally, when I'm making the listings, I copy and paste, so it's like it looks like.
It looked like you put the really expensive ones.
I didn't bother making up a fake value for a fake condition because I didn't know what condition they're going to be.
But
they say sold as near mint for $5.
Nice.
So I think people were like, "Oh my God!"
That's good though, because then people will be like scouring the website looking for deals.
Yeah, they'll assume that they can get several $100 comics for $5.
Yeah, I mean that's the dream.
It does happen sometimes. I try not to, but I'm only human.
More human than you, man.
I like that you questioned it. I like that you were, man, I'm only human. I don't know.
Only human after all.
Yes. I mean, after what you did with those stables and all those other tasks that you were set forward, and Hera never managed to kill you, I don't know. You might be a demigod. Anyway, let's talk about comic books.
Yeah, there's some.
It
wasn't a huge week this week.
It was a little on the slow side, but honestly, I was stoked with everything I read. So
nice.
I really liked a bunch of books this week. So
some good stuff.
I'm excited. And
some surprises.
And you know what? Here's a perfect example. Amazing Spider-Man Gang War.
I stopped reading Gang War, and I kind of regret it with this issue. This one was good.
This one was really good, and it's
really
funny. I think this, to me, is like a really... This is how you can tell the difference between a really good writer and a mediocre writer, as far as or just a good writer. This, when you see somebody who does an entirely fight issue where nothing happens except punching, basically. You're literally like, every panel in this comic is somebody punching somebody else for 95% of it, let's say.
That's fair.
And it really held my attention. And I'm someone who has seen enough punching at this point to be like, I think I might be done. With punching. Like it's not...
The dialogue was really good.
It's not the most important part.
I particularly liked, like for me, it's like the characterization, and like the characterization for Typhoid in it was
amazing.
Was very good, and like She-Hulk was actually really good in it.
Yep.
So yeah, it was, despite the fact that it was a fight, there was a lot of like kind of interpersonal stuff going on, and it was really fun. And I was kind of like, oh, I kind of wish I had stuck with it, but
Right.
I don't know, just like the whole, like it felt like getting from point A to point B to
Right.
me, and this issue didn't like feel like that. This issue
No.
felt like it was had something to say.
And I also feel like it's just a matter of like the fact that there's stuff going on in the fight where the dialogue is being it's almost like when you hear exposition in a movie, the difference between clunky and really subtle.
Right.
Where it's you can get the information out and sugarcoat it so that you feel like you're being told a story and not being info dumped. And
Yes.
and I think that's what this did. And I appreciated it.
Yeah, it was good.
I think the opposite of that would be whatever the hell this is. Basic Instinct.
I think it's a sequel to Basic Instinct.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I don't know. I
just-
flipped through it. I
I'm
was like, because I don't
honestly
recall seeing
curious.
previous issues of it, but I guess you must have had them. I just like
I did have the first one. The covers for the first one were so indistinct.
this one is like a
Indistinct.
weird like
Basic Indistinct.
Basic Indistinct. Nice.
They were so basically indistinct.
Yeah, I don't know. I just was like, kind of, what's the deal? And I flipped through it, and I was like, it looks like it's like a future of the characters from Basic Instinct. But
God, all your
I could
favorite
be
characters from Basic Instinct. Boy, I
this
loved them all.
dickhead and
asshole
this
for-
murderer and
This asshole, that asshole, and some other assholes.
Yeah.
God, I fucking hated everyone in that movie.
Yeah.
If it was about the bunny, maybe you'd get me. I might be.
That's
I
fatal.
might be on
That's
board.
Fatal Attraction.
Yes, exactly. No, I was thinking of Fatal Instinct.
Fatal Instinct. Oh, that's the parody.
That
of
was the
both.
one with the Mambo King. Fuck. What
Mambo
is it?
number 5, Lou
what is-
Bega.
No. Shit.
The Mambo King.
Do you not know the movie The Mambo Kings?
I do not. know the movie, The
Well,
Mambo Kings.
God, his name is like right on the tip of my tongue.
Should I Google
boy.
it?
No, it's fine. But I'm annoyed by the fact that I don't remember what his name is. Here, this is actual
I'm
footage
Googling it right
of
now.
Bob Googling it right now.
Mambo
Okay,
King.
let's see. Batman 141. Holy crap, I like this a lot.
I liked it as well.
I am very into this story. I thought this was supposed to be the last issue. In fact, I think I said that in the newsletter, so sorry
Antonio
about that.
Banderas?
Nope, the other one.
Armand Asante?
There you go. Armand Asante starred in Fatal Instinct.
I see.
Whew.
It was a real white knuckle ride. we went on.
Oh my god, I barely made it.
No, Batman 141 is good. Is good. I'll be honest. Like, I've been struggling with the Batman stuff that is like the ongoing Batman stuff. This kept me. I am not terribly interested. It's interesting. Like, I think it's good because like I don't care about Failsafe. I don't care about the Joker, and I don't care about Zur-En-Arrh, which I can't believe I'm saying out loud.
Yeah, well, I think.
But
that's-
for
I
some
think
reason,
that's a
I'm still
continuity personal
interested
problem.
in the storyline.
Yeah.
Like I'm invested. I thought this was a stronger issue than some of the previous ones. You should say things.
Well, I feel like for you, if instead of being Zur-En-Arrh, his name was Trent, you'd be like, "Oh, Trent."
No, I don't like the idea that Batman is tricking himself into operating differently. I think it goes against the nature of Batman as a character. Like,
Okay.
I think that this whole psyops thing is like, I kind of like it harkens back to what Morrison was doing with Dr. Hurt and the whole, the whole deal, obviously, because that was
Right.
the introduction
Yeah.
of Zur-En-Arrh as like the alternate personality, and it's just kind of like taking that to it. But like, I thought that what was cool about that reintroduction of Zur-En-Arrh in the Morrison run, I don't need it to be expanded further. And I just think the idea of like Batman wouldn't need to create a failsafe for if he killed, because Batman would not kill.
There you go.
He
No,
just
I
would
see it.
do
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing that
Right.
is required of
I-
this to be. And now he's got this unstoppable. And the obviously also like the idea that he created a, like, it's like the whole
Also,
OMAC
there's-
thing. Like,
Also,
kind of,
yeah, I mean, it's basically OMAC.
it is
Redux.
OMAC.
It
Basically.
really is.
It's just
It's just
I don't know,
another
whatever.
version of the OMAC story.
It's
which
fun,
I liked.
and this was a really cool, fun, fast-paced issue, and I am interested in where it's going next.
And another great series with Batman in it would be Batman and Scooby-Doo. And there's a pun based on this actual comic right on the cover. Need a hand, Batman? Because something terrible happened to his hand and he had to have a robot thing in his hand.
Oh,
I don't know if that's actually if
no.
that's a reference or not.
No, it's actually really, despite the fact that it's a Batman Scooby-Doo mystery, Nightwing is like
it's a
Nightwing Scooby-Doo mystery, and it's all based on the circus. And there's a mystery involving Boston Brand. And if you're a fan of Deadman, there is a moment that is now Scooby-Doo canon that is actually pretty worth at least flipping through, if not like if you're a bigger fan of the two franchises, possibly. I thought it was fun. It was a good first issue.
Bop, aka Birds of Prey.
I really liked this fill-in artist. I thought it was kind of weird that like they had a fill-in artist on a 6-issue arc, like, but they did, and that's the way it went, and it made sense. And I do like this artist. It's cool. And I like this comic a lot. It's one of my favorite DC books.
Yeah. What about Blue Beetle? Holy crap.
I love Blue Beetle.
There's some amazing stuff in this book.
It's really
Holy
good.
Crap. This is a really good comic.
Some of the stuff is like, I don't know, like I hope we don't get down to like Green Beetle, Yellow Beetle, Blue Beetle kind of stuff.
That definitely feels like the
which
road
we're like
down,
sort of close to, but I think that this comic is really good.
Yeah.
I think it is a very good, fun, straight ahead superhero comic.
Yep.
And enjoyable.
And also some of the Silver Age silliness that's going on in it is really fun.
Yeah, they had like that cool like throwback with Dan Garrett, Blue Beetle. It was cool.
Yep. Captain America. We've got number 5 here. I am not following this, but I liked the first 2 issues quite a bit.
Yeah. I just kind of flipped through it. There's that cool Jim Rugg variant cover that's pretty cool too with Wolverine on it.
That is cool.
Reason.
Tales of Exandria, Artigan from Critical Role.
If you like Critical Role, this is for you.
If you have followed this so deep lore that I can't possibly understand any of what's going on thing, you'll like this.
It has elves, so it is not for me.
Forget that you hate elves.
I just don't like elves.
Unbelievably confusing reason.
No, it's not confusing at all. I just don't like them. It's like just don't like them.
It's fine. You're welcome to not like elves. Destiny Gate by Dabari.
Yeah.
And somebody named Katie, who I don't actually know, but Simon Gao and Christian Dabari are on this. And man, I really think this is just, again, I said it before, but I think this is like Christian's best art ever. I think this is.
I would agree.
I think he has really expanded I think that he's stretching in a way like that. Something about this particular type of thing is giving him an expansion of his skills or showing his skills in a way that he hasn't been able to before.
Yeah.
Because he likes horror so much, he sticks to the horror and yeah, again with the fucking the Sean Murphy quote, he's a Ferrari and he's being driven like a Honda or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Something along those lines.
It's pushing him more towards Ferrari territory. Honestly, like I realized because I kind of forgot, like the trade dress didn't really like sell the creative team, so I wasn't sure the last couple times that it was his book, and this time I remembered, so I actually flipped through it, and it's a pretty cool looking book.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a proof that Dabari is an A-list artist, and I think needs to maybe expand where he's going.
Do you think that Sean came up with that quote because Dabari rhymes with Ferrari?
I don't know. I think he might have even said Lamborghini, and I just did it because it rhymes with Ferrari. Because I think that I don't know. Sean is a car person, and I'm not. And so he's always saying things about cars, and I'm like, I don't know. Is it?
Oh man, speaking of cars, if you're a car person, the car in Batman 141 is cool. Like, there's a really cool car chase in it.
I don't think I even noticed it.
Yeah, it's when he's like running from the failsafe. He gets in a like muscle car.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's pretty cool, and then he blows it up.
It's funny.
Spoiler,
I thought of that muscle car as like an Oldsmobile. Like I thought of it as like the Evil Dead car.
Honestly, I didn't really like.
It might be.
I was going relatively fast, so it might be a different car than I thought it was.
Doctor Strange 11 has a flaming baby on the cover.
It has.
I didn't read it.
It's fun. It's good, and
it's got a flaming baby on the cover.
Bats
it's gotta be
the
good.
dog has a really cool moment in it, and
they've been working Bats the dog.
The flaming baby is so Clea's mom is Umar,
Okay.
and Umar has a baby.
Wait, Umar, like the big weird alien?
No, Umar is a female presenting mythical who is married to Dormammu, I believe.
Okay, not the weird alien that became Doctor Strange for like 3 issues in the 80s.
I don't think so.
I thought that
Umar is a
has a weird
classic
U
like
name.
Ditko era villain
Okay.
that has been around for decades, and so Umar has a new kid, and the kid. So it is Clea's sister, and
Okay.
they are taking the sister out for a fun babysitting excursion into New York City, and shit
It's
goes.
Adventures in Babysitting.
It is.
With Doctor Strange. Fuck, you have sold me.
Yeah, no, it was really fun, and I actually liked the fill-in artist fair amount.
I would say a real contender for Book of the Week this week would be Fantastic Four number 15. This was a fucking heartbreaker for me. Wow, what a well-written book.
I think that I didn't read it. I think this isn't a flipper, and
That is
I just,
not. This was
yeah,
not
I
a
just
flip book.
flipped
This
it.
was a. This was a novel's worth of writing.
Yeah,
in this.
I kind of knew
Oof.
I couldn't do that.
Oh my god,
um,
it's so good. It's
nice.
so fucking good.
That's good. I hate the art.
It didn't. I mean, again, because you're reading so much of this, I barely noticed the art in this. I think it's fine. I think it's totally serviceable. It does not bother me in the
Yeah,
least.
maybe that's it.
But this story of the I can't even remember what it's called, but it's essentially the mind that has been made up of all human minds on Earth.
The
through this app.
Unimind.
It's not the Unimind, though,
Oh,
is it?
okay. I don't know.
It's another.
There
it's
is a
different-
Marvel thing called the Unimind.
Yes, but it is not the Unimind. It's not the Captain Marvel thing.
when you go to the next comic, can you pass the Fantastic Four to me?
Yeah. Pass the duchy on the left hand side. I will do that.
Pawn the left hand side.
But I would say Fantastic Four
Four.
lives up to this fucking awesome cover that is literally
The cover
one
is
of my
amazing.
favorite covers of all time.
Yeah, it's great.
Fire and Ice. Welcome to Smallville. I'll hand you this Fantastic Four comic so you can check
I
it
love
out.
I really love Fire and Ice. No, I want to show you something.
And you just want to prove to me that the art is bad.
No, I want to show you a specific panel of this comic that is like, I'll find it anyway.
Okay,
Fire and
sure.
Ice is great.
It is. It's much better than you would think it is, and it deserves your attention if you're not paying attention to it.
This
Let me see this.
Like-
What's the issue? Is this a
the
bad
eyes
thing?
of that character like are so poorly drawn.
I mean, they're stylized. I don't know that that's poorly drawn.
I think it's poorly drawn.
I think that is a choice by an artist who clearly
It's-
can draw a
it's-
human eye.
I mean, who can draw two diamond shapes like
Well-
adjacent to each other?
I mean, you could describe any artist as having that failing. Like you could be like, the Max people aren't really that
Oh
big.
man, I would never ever say the Max was like
I don't know. I think it's
I
a
don't know.
stylistic
Anyway,
choice.
okay,
personally.
fine. Sure.
Just like Ghost Lore.
No way. Ghost Lore is amazingly drawn. I love Leo Max.
Oh my
I love
god.
Colin Bunn. I love
Leo Max is so fucking good.
That story. I really like Ghost Lore. It's one of my favorite indies currently.
It's good stuff. It's
Like non-big two.
speaking
indies.
of stretching, I would say that for Cullen Bunn, this is the most stretch he's done in a long time, where it's not just kind of like he has this tendency to make horror stories that are like, what if we extrapolate a little bit out of an existing horror movie? And it's like, what if Hellraiser was this? What if The Thing was on another planet? What if
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, you got the unearthly. You've got this, and this is like actually kind of a real story
Yeah.
that like
yeah, there's emotional stakes to it, and it's a cool like supernatural hook, and the
Yeah.
art is very good, and I love the way they do it so that the same artist can stick with it,
Yep.
where they have the middle section that's like by the different artist every time, and
Yeah.
I just think it's a great hook and a great visual. It works.
I think that if you compounded this thing, I think if you compressed this story into a 3-issue arc or a 4 or 5-issue arc, I think you would have something that easily could have fit into a Sandman volume.
Okay.
Like it has that kind of I don't know, literary feel to it that
Yeah.
like a Neil Gaiman kind of thing does sometimes.
Yeah, I think so. I think it also would make a really good Netflix miniseries.
course,
like,
of
although it
course.
doesn't feel like IP farming.
It does not feel like IP farming in the fucking least, which is great. That makes me super happy. Hunger in the Dusk.
It's a nice looking book about elves.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
No,
it's
it's like about
just,
trolls.
it's about fantasy characters in a way that I'm not gonna be. It's not
Right.
gonna be for me.
I know people that are super into this book though.
This is many people's favorite book. That's good. I mean, and for absolutely obviously good reasons. It is a beautiful looking book, and I mean, it's G. Willow Wilson. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like it's written by some schmo.
Nope.
It's somebody who is well known to be an A-class talent. Let's say.
A-class now.
Kneel before Zod. Do it. Just come on. Just do it.
Honestly, like, it's fine. I
I
don't
like-
really
I like it
understand
fine.
the point of it, but
I
it's
do.
fine.
There's a
Yeah.
series coming out that it's the evil sons of Sinestro and Zod.
Yeah.
And they're going to be teaming up for fun shenanigans, and
Well,
so they
but
needed
this
to
is like there's a new
introduce him.
Krypton in the DC world.
Yeah,
I guess I missed it.
whatever. Zod runs his own planet, and he's a kind of a dick, and he beats his son for like literally 20 of the 23 pages
I
of
know,
this
right?
issue.
It's just like Zod being mean to. The art's good,
It's
and
literally Zod like fucking Homer Simpsoning his kid.
yeah,
like,
pretty much.
He's just choking him. Why, you little.
Well, his son also uses like heat vision on him and stuff. And,
Yeah,
like, it's
sure,
like,
but he's
yeah, Dad, I got Krypton powers.
Yeah, but-
I feel like one of the things that makes Superman work is when there aren't a lot of other people that have the same
I
powers as
know.
him, and so whatever.
No, it is to me, the undoing
Dilutes the brand.
of the Superman series has always been adding more Kryptonians.
Adding more Kryptonians, adding more
always-
powers. Like it's just like he doesn't need to be. I mean, whatever. I'm not writing Superman, so who cares?
You know what you are writing though.
What?
You're of course writing Marvel Meow.
I
Famously.
wish I was writing Marvel
Marvel
Meow.
Meow, which it should have been
because
called.
It is like a collection of digital comics, I think.
Yeah, I
it
think
reads
so.
like that, and
It's-
then there's
it's
like a
now
cat
Fuji.
version of like all the different characters, and then the cats do stuff.
It's
It's
basically
very adorable.
It seems like there's some sort of story going on. I read it and I didn't see the narrative. Like it's as though
There
there's
are
a
times
group of,
where the narrative works. There are times when
Right.
the narrative is absolutely stymieing.
yeah, totally.
But it's
as though
always
there's a
cute
bunch
pictures of
right,
cats and Marvel
exactly.
superheroes.
There's like 7 cats that the different heroes. It seems as though Spider-Man is trying to take care of these 7 cats that he needs to get from one place to the other somehow, and he keeps handing them off to people to babysit while
The
he
one
goes
where
and does other
Wolverine
stuff.
has the cat carrier on his chest is probably my favorite image of the week.
Oh, my favorite image 100% was the one where Doctor Doom gets the cats and he dresses them all up
He
in
puts
little
armor
Doctor
on them.
Doom armor.
Yeah,
That was pretty fucking adorable.
that seemed pretty silly.
I liked it a lot. I think that is a thing that Doctor Doom would do. I fully believe that. All right, Marvel Zombies number 4. Or Red,
Steve
White,
Scroce
Zombies.
had one in there.
I like how his name sounds like Scrotum.
Yeah, I like Steve Scroce. I mean, his art is amazing. That's the Clobber in Time guy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Maestro, Monstro, whatever it was
I
called.
think yeah, that
It
was
called
that was
Maestro,
cool.
I think.
Midnight Show is also very
Oh
cool.
yeah, great.
This
Fun
is-
comic.
This
That's
is
Cullen
more
Bunn too, right?
This is Cullen Bunn doing more of like what you would expect Cullen Bunn to do.
Yeah.
But in a fun way as opposed to kind of his like extreme horror kind of stuff that he likes to do. So,
Yeah, no, this is cool. Like, what if the Universal monsters came to life in a movie theater,
yep.
specifically?
And The Ministry of Compliance, a comic no one is reading, so I won't talk about it.
I flipped through it. I didn't.
And Vengeance of Moon Knight.
I bought it.
You did?
I did.
Is it good? I
Yeah.
didn't read it.
It's good.
I didn't even notice that it was out this week.
So it's specifically continuation from the end of the
Yes.
Moon Knight series, and it's the Midnight Club or whatever.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like
Which
that
looked
might not be the
fucking
right
cool.
society, whatever they're called. And it's one of them's Tigra, so they had my attention.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's good. It's a good Marvel superhero thing.
Awesome. Once Upon a Time at the End of the World is continuing.
Yep.
And this is another one. This is one that I was pleasantly surprised by because
liked
I
it.
feel like I think that they may have made some pretty bad choices overall. Number one, covers, not compelling. Number two,
Yeah.
the title, not compelling. Like everything about this says you'd better know who Kyle Starks is
Yeah.
and want to read something from him.
I mean,
Otherwise,
that's true.
you're going to look at this and go, I don't know, what is this? Is it about real estate agents? Who fucking cares? Like
Yeah,
it
I would not.
bothers
I would
me.
not have given it as much attention as I
Of
did
course.
if it weren't Kyle Starks. But that said, I really liked it.
Yes,
It's very good.
I liked it too. I mean, we were talking before, and it sounded like I was complaining about it. Really, what I was saying was that this is a well-trod concept. This is essentially a detective agency. It's more of a noir story. You have a retired boxer as the husband and this super smart detective as the wife, and they are basically they're just a detective agency. But you know, it gets into that kind of noir thing, and it's fun.
Yeah,
It's-
the art's good. The
it's
story is
modern.
interesting, and
and Kyle
I-
Starks gets a couple of A-class jokes in there.
with that one, the one-liners are A plus.
Yes.
There's one that particularly I liked.
There was one that was just charming and won me over, like in their relationship, because he's just this big dumb lummox and she's the smart one, and he charmingly gives her a picture of a hot dog with
Oh yeah.
a bird carrying a hot dog that he's drawn on a piece of notebook paper, and I was like, that was a really winning moment.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I was like,
He-
this changes this dynamic for this fucking book entirely.
Yeah, the thing I really liked about it was that it's like 3/4 of the book is just establishing
Yeah.
the characters and what they're about, and I
No,
thought
this
that was
fe-
really well
This
done.
feels like a book that is trying to be there for the long haul.
What's it called again?
It's called It's called Pine and Merrimack.
Pine and Merrimack.
And it's literally named after the cross streets where their agency
right,
is.
right.
I don't know, man. It's like it's not even the
It's not a
names of the
standout title.
characters because they're married and they have the same last
Yeah,
name.
their last name is Parker. No,
I
Kent. It's Kent.
really?
Yeah, yeah. It was
Oh.
like a established. Like I was like, oh, like I wondered if it was like a. Like
Oh,
a
it's funny
throw or
because
whatever.
somebody's name was Parker as well, and I was
yeah,
like, I
okay.
assumed that was a throw to the Parker series.
Oh yeah, no. His first name is Parker. I think his name is Parker
I assumed
Kent.
that was the mystery novels.
Yeah, I definitely the Richard Stark.
Yeah. Who
so
somehow
can I s-
is not a killer.
Yeah, I don't know.
How is it possible that a guy named Richard Stark hasn't killed anybody?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
Because Richard Starkweather got there
I
first.
guess so. Go on. What were you going to say?
I assume we're going to talk about the next comic.
Beware the Planet of the Apes.
So what I was going to say is I'm going to go and blow your mind and say that I thought this was a fucking great comic book.
Yay!
It's really good.
I love this. I loved the first run so much. Is this still bleh.
So the first 2 pages are literally reprints of the original graphic novel, and then it
dude.
goes in and it's Dr. Zaius and characters from Planet. It's like it feels like Planet of the Apes, unlike all of these other ones that like just like I only know the original ones. I haven't watched the new ones. I don't care about the new ones terribly very much. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just like I'm a casual person who knows Planet of the Apes, and like I was like great art, good story. I think it's Mark Guggenheim wrote it. I
Yep.
didn't know the artist. The first 2 pages are it's like Doug Mensch and like I can't remember if it's George Tuska.
Yeah.
So it's like a
something from
reprint of
yeah.
the like
the
actual
old
like
Marvel.
Planet of the Apes, and it like continues from there. And I think they did. This is what I would want
Interesting.
as a
Cool.
casual fan of the franchise. This is the book that would get me to buy it,
Interesting.
and I thought
would
it was
like
just
to.
really good.
I would like to check that out. I mean, I loved the first one. Like, I thought the first one was like
have no doubt
legitimately
that it was good.
genius, and I was disappointed to see just how kind of ignored that series was. But if you are a fan of the original, yeah, this clearly is the more classic 60s version, which I'm
Yeah.
also a very big fan of. And here is a disgustingly pregnant Poison Ivy. Ooh,
Yeah.
she's
I
got
don't-
some
I
weird
did
little
like
vines going into her belly.
It's
Gross.
funny because I liked that last issue so much, and this is literally the continuation of it, and I just didn't care about it as much.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's good. I've heard good things.
Does it have the Power Rangers in it in some sort of
No.
an academy form?
No, they're going to school to learn to be rangers.
Hell yeah, they are. This is Rue Morgue.
Should I put the magazines in here with the comics? They're on
Sure.
the shelf.
I
so
mean,
I
Rue
grab
Morgue
them,
is
but-
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It's,
I always
it's not
love.
a comic, but
I always love Rue Morgue, even though they tore my band to shreds in a fucking review from some dildo who only listens to rockabilly, and I'm like, fuck, why did you have this rockabilly douchebag review our band? And I still like them even after that. So there you go. If you go into the back issues, you can find a really scathing review of the first Covered in Bees record. Thank you to the Covered in Bees for the music for the intro and outro for this
yes.
show.
Covered in Bees is a great band.
Savage
Most people
Red
don't know what
Sonja.
they're talking about. That guy.
That guy's well.
Dumb fuck.
That dude, I will drag him. His name is Tomb Dragomir, so he can suck a cock. He wears a top hat. Fuck that dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Unsurprising.
I don't know for a fact that he wears a top hat, but come on, you know he wears a fucking top hat.
His
Jesus
name is
Christ,
Tomb.
a turd. Anyway, Savage Red Sonja.
It's fine.
It's fine. Shazam versus Black Adam.
It wasn't drawn by Dan Morris, so I did not buy it.
Silver Surfer Rebirth Legacy Part 5, The Return.
It wasn't drawn by Jack Kirby or John Buscema, so I didn't buy it.
It didn't have Xander Cage in it, so I didn't
Yeah,
care.
no, I'm sure it's fine.
Sonic the Hedgehog also didn't have Jack Kirby in it.
No.
The Space
Shame.
Between continues to be a book that no one knows what it's about because no one will read it.
I flipped through it.
Sure you did.
I did.
That's a lie.
I did.
And what's it about?
I don't know.
I
did flip through it, though.
Matter. Okay, Miguel
Space.
O'Hara.
It's about space.
It's about the space between. Okay. And Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099.
This seems to be so. I don't know why they call it 2099 when it takes place in the current Marvel universe. Number one, number two, it clearly is setting up this vampire crossover that they are going to be doing because he's all about Dracula in this thing.
He's all about them Draculas.
He's all about the Dragulas.
You know, I'm gonna get a
you
tattoo
misheard
that
me.
says
He's
that.
all about the Dragulas.
Oh, sure, of course.
He's going to burn in the ditches and
ditches, the
slide
witches,
through the
the-
witches. I don't know what the fucking lyrics are. Dragula.
Flip all the switches.
Yeah. Those.
All right. Darth Vader, Starman.
Yep.
Star Wars guy.
Starman.
Star Wars guy. High Republic got a little ocular thing on his face.
I put them in there because
thing.
they came out,
They sure did.
but I didn't read them. I didn't read this one either.
Star Trek, Picard's Academy.
No.
Superman, the Metal Curtain.
It's good. There's actually a really good Superman Lois Lane moment in there where he's like in the bathroom, like he's been weakened by kryptonite because one of the villain of this is Metallo, and he's been weakened by kryptonite. He's in the bathroom, and Lois Lane is like, "Clark, are you okay? Like, what's wrong?" And he's like, "This is the men's room, Lois." She just like is in the men's room, like asking Clark what the fuck is wrong.
That's a very Superman the movie
Yeah.
version of Lois Lane, which I like.
It's good. I like this comic. I actually like the second series better than the first one of the Superman 78. Psycho Superman 78.
And other Misfits lyrics about Superman.
Yes.
Thanos, Smash of the Titans is
Heyo.
the subtitle of this. Number 2 of Thanos. Much more enjoyable than the first issue. I thought
Take your
this was
word for
fun. I mean, it's just dumb punching, but it's fun dumb punching.
Dumb punching.
If you like dumb punching, this is some of the best dumb punching I've read in a while. It really is just like Thanos and the Hulk punching the crap out of each other.
All right.
And people flying through buildings and mountains and into oceans and whatever.
Billy Oceans.
Yes.
I hope he's okay.
At one point, the Hulk gets out of Thanos' dreams and gets into his Thanos copter.
Nice. Oh, sweet.
It was a double. It was a
Nice.
twofer.
Nice. Well done.
Titans Beast World Tour Atlantis.
This is fine.
Wow. I see. There's a shark wearing a leather jacket. What are you talking about? How is it just fine?
Absolutely.
There's like a rockabilly shark on the cover.
Hate the art in this comic.
Rockabilly shark.
I hate it.
Look at this
I
guy.
hate it so bad. And then in the middle story that's only like 10 pages long, there's art that I don't hate.
It's Sharky Ramon. It's the first appearance of Sharky Ramon on the cover. Finally. Oh, shit.
It's not even a leather jacket. It's
Nope,
like
it's a leather
lame
jacket.
Atlantean armor.
That's Sharky Ramon. I refuse to be moved.
I hate this art. I hate it so bad. And then Aquaman turns into a lizard. And then there's like this story with Vixen and Cat to Boomerang that has art that I don't hate. But it's sandwiched between these two stories that have art that I do hate.
Delicious sandwiches.
I wish.
Well, Vampirella has some dead flowers, which... Dead Flowers, how is that not the name of an old Ministry record? I do not know.
Put roses on your
What about
grave.
Kid Venom Origins?
Is this just a reprint of the story with Kid Venom before that came out?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's like a.
The art is cool. It's
yeah.
it's this really interesting Japanese art style that's really fun.
Even though Venom in the comics is literally a kid, now there is a Kid Venom
yes,
as well.
because it's spinning out of the pages of
Spider-Verse.
Edge of Venomverse.
Venomverse.
The Venomverse.
Venomverse.
And check this out. Here's another gooey person. Look at how gooey that motherfucker is. That is Venom, and he is gooing it up. Why is he glowing? Only God knows, because I'm not reading this comic.
I don't know
And
either.
God is reading this comic, which is
God
weird.
made this comic.
God gave rock and
Literally-
roll to you.
The Bible Part 2, Venom number 31.
I wish.
29, sorry. I got the really short number wrong.
Close enough. Walking Dead number 80, the deluxe version.
Deluxe apartment.
I'm actually kind of curious to know what you think of this. I will start off. I love this comic. I am loving the X-Men. I think it's great. I think Fall of House of X is a great comic. Really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see how much you hated it for reasons unknown.
I thought that it was mostly fine.
Was it because of the fastball special where they reversed it and blended up people?
No, it was, what did they call it? That was actually pretty funny.
They tried their best. They had like 6 different
They had
options.
different
It
names,
felt like
but-
it definitely felt like the writer having a really hard
the
time.
Pinata special.
Yep.
And
They tried
he's
that
like
one.
awful.
It is.
No, there were aspects. Sorry to turn away from the microphone. There were aspects of it that I liked. There were aspects of it that I thought were mediocre. But at
That's fair.
worst, it was mediocre.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't think that this comic is a particularly outstanding comic book. I thought it was fine, but I think that it, in the context of the direction that they're going with the X-Men, I think I'm very excited about.
Sure.
In general, everything so far has been the kind of X-Men stories that I have been missing, honestly. And it's the stuff that I like. So
Well, at least now it like feels like the X-Men. It's like,
yeah.
other than Rasputin 4, it's like Cyclops, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Shadowcat, like Rogue, Gambit. This like the X-Men are doing stuff, and it's not like Tourniquet 4 or 6 is like taking the resurrection protocol, blah blah. Like
there's not so much Hickman nonsense.
it's just like it's not like 4 trillion ancillary characters. Like
And
it's like
I
here's-
like Hickman nonsense, but I got to the point where I was like, okay, whoa, all right, calm it down, buddy.
Yeah, I don't. This one was fine. I still I
You still haven't forgiven Gary Duggan for Cockjew.
I have not, nor will I ever.
Understandable. It's pretty fucking
But
terrible.
mainly, I haven't forgiven Jerry Duggan for just like being a hack. Like
That's fair.
I just like he doesn't like whatever. I don't beat up on Jerry Duggan's writing. I just like I don't care for it.
Fair.
But
No, I get
this
it.
feels more like putting the toys back in the box so that someone else can do something fun with the X-Men. Like I just like I'm so tired of like things being so like well it's interesting. I read an interview with the guy that writes Green Arrow right now. He writes Duke for G.I. Joe.
Yeah, Williams.
And he was
Joshua
talking about
Williams.
like, so back in the day it used to be like, if the cover is purple and there's a gorilla on it, people will buy it, like it was like all this like weird math of stuff that like would make people buy comics.
Yeah.
And it was fun stuff that made people buy comics.
Right.
And this Williamson guy was like, what I've learned from writing comics for the last 20 years is that like nobody wants anybody to be happy anymore. Like when the characters are going through the shit, that's what sells comics. And realizing that was important for me because it's like, oh, okay, so if I want to read a Green Arrow comic or I want to read a X-Men comic or whatever, I have to know that like 90% of it in order to sell the comic is just going to be them having a shitty time. And it's good to know that, like that the reason they do that is because that's what people buy.
Yeah.
Because there's a million comics that like are fun, and I can just read those ones. Like the one I bought last week, the manga that's like I turned into a vending machine,
Yes.
and now I wanted the dungeon. That comic is so
Yeah.
fun. I love that.
Now-
that's what I want. Like, and so clearly that's what's selling manga.
Right.
So maybe like it's
And clearly manga is outselling Western comics. So is it possible, just hear me out, that maybe they have taken the wrong lesson from the sales, and that the idea that an Old Man Logan comic is just a crazy thing. It's not that it's sad. It's not that it's depressing and bleak. It's that it's fucking wackadoo.
yeah.
And
You
that
said
book
it, not
was
me.
that book was wackadoo. I liked how wackadoo it was. I didn't like it because it meant that Wolverine was having a bad day. Although I did read I wish I could credit who wrote it, but somebody wrote a post on some social media site that was like, there are only 10 kinds of X-Men stories, and it was like, Scott Summers has a bad day because of some racists. Scott Summers has a bad day because of some aliens. And it was like 17 different things. And it was like, there were like 3 stories that didn't involve Scott Summers having a bad day. And it was like, that's funny. I don't remember that. And then I read this comic today and I was like, huh, this is Scott Summers having a bad day. I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, there's only 10 kinds of fucking
My
X-Men
issue,
stories.
so I like, it's important for me to not like be a 49-year-old man who's complaining about the way comic books are, because not every comic book is for me. But what's my point? I just, the idea of Orcus
Yeah.
as a bad organization is dumb to me, because it's like it posits that everyone in the world is on the same side. Everybody's
I mean,
like,
that's how
and
it's
that
always
and,
worked
and
for
that
them.
that side is brutally racist
Yep.
and genocidal. And I don't think that I personally, the part of me that wants Superman to be the guy that
Right.
stands up for the little guy and wants the X-Men to be the guys that stand up despite the fact that people are prejudiced, to try to work towards peace and try to work towards community and things like that. Like, the idea that this organization that you've never heard of until 5 minutes ago just pops up, and then all of a sudden in the Alpha Flight comic, the entire Canadian government is trying to literally exterminate
Yes.
a race of human individuals, regardless of whether they are human or mutant. They're still people. And it's like, it just bugs me.
I'm
that
going
this,
to
this
stay out of this because there are current events that I do not want to discuss. But I'm going to
I
say
think
you're
that
wrong.
there are bigots in the world. I'm not saying that bigotry doesn't exist. I'm just saying that the idea that everybody just on a dime is like,
I
let's
think-
exterminate a race of individuals. I think there are people who would go along with that, but I think
But
it
I
is
do-
not a
Sure, but I
everybody
think also
majority.
I think also again,
Like the
you
government
weren't
is like
reading-
letting these
you
people
were not
do
reading
this shit.
the
It, like,
comics as you weren't reading the comics the way that like a person who was reading the X-Men was reading the comics. Like, you weren't following it along to the point where you were seeing the the actual things that had happened to humanity through the X-Men, where literally they were all infected with a kill switch, where the mutants could literally exterminate the entire human race with a push of a button.
That was just like, it
whenever
was
they felt
just a
like it.
trick. It was a trick. And it's like, you have to believe then that there's this universe where everybody is just on a dime, like, oh, that's what they were doing, these mutants. And I just don't think that's the way the world works. And
I certainly hope that
it doesn't reflect any kind of positive.
Sure, but I would
thing.
like to believe that this is a step in the story that is going to allow that reality to come through.
I would love that.
And when you see the horror and the bigotry, if that becomes the only version that they show, when later on humanity comes and goes, fuck this, we're on your side, the moment when, it's the moment when Spider-Man is hated by everyone in the Sam Raimi movies, and then all of New York bands together to like fight off his attacker while he's trying to hold a bus from falling off the bridge.
Because somebody's like, beating the shit out of him. They're like, no, this guy's from New York.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
helps us.
Yeah.
But like that is the thing that's lacking from X-Men for me, is that like there's no voice that's saying like there's a group of people in the world. Instead, it's like this entire government has now been co-opted by this one organization that came out of nowhere. Like Orchis, the organization, did not exist before 2022. Like it didn't, like before Jonathan Hickman, 2021, right. 2020, whatever it was. Like this thing out of nowhere. It'd be like, it's not like S.H.I.E.L.D. getting taken over from within by Nazis or Hydra or whatever, which is like S.H.I.E.L.D. is like a thing that everybody in the Marvel Universe knows exists, or it's like just this thing, and everybody that like lives in the Marvel Universe that has been through all of this shit before, like they've been through the Hellfire Club and the this and then that, like, and I know it's like I'm taking it too fucking seriously, I get it. That's why I didn't want to go down this road, but like that's what doesn't work for me.
Fair enough
with this, but that said, I think they are course correcting, and I am finding more and more within the X-Men comics to enjoy as time goes forward.
Fair enough. I'll leave it at that. I will leave that story at that. Okay. There we go. What else? Is there anything else we need to talk about?
You talk about this Garbage Pail Kid Randy Savage comic, big action figure that's been in front of me the whole time, and I'm like, that's cool.
It is pretty
Gigantic
cool.
Andre.
Those are pretty great.
It's like a wrestling.
Loyal Subjects did some really good Garbage Pail Kids wrestler crossovers. They're pretty cool.
They're cool. And
got a bunch of new shirt designs. Check those out on the website. There's a whole bunch.
New shirt designs.
And there's a bunch of other stuff. So, yeah.
Follow Coast City at coastcitycomics.com. You might get a chance to buy some Turtles comics that you.
I mean, that's the other thing is that, you should follow us and follow our go to the website and sign up for the newsletter and all that stuff, because as I'm listing this stuff,
I've never done that. I don't know why.
I'm glad you haven't, because the number of things that you could call me on that I'm wrong about when I post these things, I know for a fact that you would be like, oh, dude, you know that's not right. And I'd be like, oh, fuck, of course I do. But
that's cool. It's your brand.
It's my fucking brand that I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
No, I don't think that's true. You know a lot.
Sometimes I know. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you want to talk music theory, I'm doing great. The thing that I actually make money on, I'm not great at it. Anyway.
Nah, you're passable, at least.
Good.
Worst case scenario, you're passable.
Thank God.
Best case scenario, occasionally wrong.
All right. So thank you for listening, and we will see you next week. Good night.
Yeah. Bye. Whew.